Howdy folks, Jambareeqi here and welcome to another episode of Jambareeqi Cinema, the podcast mini-series where I review movies that have arrived in UK theatres. In this episode, I'll be talking about Venom. Eddie Brock is a TV reporter famous for exposing corruption in the world. He discovers that a shady corporation called the Life Foundation have found some strange symbiotes from space, and they are testing these organisms' symbiotic behaviors on volunteer humans, even if it costs their lives. Eddie's fiancée Anne happens to be a lawyer for the Foundation, so Eddie sneaks onto her computer so he can find dirt for his upcoming interview with their head honcho, Carlton Drake. But after he leaks these details in the interview, Anne is fired from her job and the network cancels Eddie's show. Eddie has now lost his fiancée and his celebrity career. With help from a scientist working at the Foundation, Eddie sneaks into their experimental facility, only to have a symbiote called Venom attach itself to him. Venom uses Eddie's body as a host, weakening poor Eddie in the process. Carlton sends his men to go after Eddie, intrigued that he has managed to bond perfectly with Venom. This movie has gained a so bad it's good reputation since its release. After watching it myself, I can see where folks are coming from. It's a very messy train wreck of a movie. For starters, its tone is all over the place. Sometimes humour is intentionally injected into the film, but at points it's hard to tell if the movie wants to be a full-on comedy or not. There are many scenes that come off as really silly but are backed with ominous music, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to laugh or be creeped out. For example, there's a part where Eddie is suffering from extreme hunger due to the symbiote's effects, and he storms into a restaurant, then proceeds to eat all the food on people's plates. Then he complains that he's hot, so he climbs into a lobster tank and begins eating the lobsters. It all sounds like a scene from Freddy Got Fingered, yet the music indicates that we should be disturbed by his unusual behaviour. It's all very jarring. Is this supposed to be serious or not? The film does slog along before we get to see Venom fuse into Eddie. The film knows why audiences are here, but really postpones the hook of the story, focusing more on Eddie's rough lifestyle after losing everything. It's a drag watching all the cliche beats of a character hitting rock bottom. We get it. Eddie is unhappy and miserable. This is not very interesting. Let's move on. However, once Venom and Eddie combine, that's where the movie starts to get more entertaining. Their interactions are very funny, with Eddie being a reluctant host with strong morals and Venom violently raging against anyone in their way. The two develop a really engaging chemistry, as their ethics are so drastically different, yet they know that they need each other in the long run. It's totally funny listening to the demonic voice Venom sarcastically commenting on everything too. His banter kept me awake throughout the film, and it's even more comical hearing him trying to be sympathetic. But the development for Venom is all too late. The movie tries to give him a conscience at the last minute, at a point where the dynamic between Eddie and Venom has just been established. Venom credits Eddie for this newfound desire for heroic duty after getting to know him while inside him, but the film never actually shows this growth. It's like the most crucial details of the story are saved for the final act, not giving us time to take it all in. The villain, Carlton Drake, is a very uncharismatic bad guy, with the generic motive of using science for something important, but abandoning ethics in order to accomplish his goals. He's not charming enough to make us believe that he's tricked everyone into trusting him, and when he needs to be menacing, he lacks any ability to seem intimidating. Riz Ahmed is woefully miscast in the role, bringing no threat or personality to the character. The side characters are just there, doing what they need to do, whether supporting Eddie in this crisis or dumping information about the symbiote. They're not unlikable, but I couldn't care less about any of them, as they don't have much to do besides their blanket purposes. The movie's action is actually quite boring. You can tell that creativity has gone into the choreography, but choppy editing and blurry cinematography make it hard to get sucked into the fights. It's so difficult to enjoy the action when it's presented through this chaotic filter where everything is over-intensified. To conclude, Venom is a very messy and poorly paced film. I really struggled to stay awake through most of it, unless a scene got really silly. You can tell that it's Sony's way of cashing in on the MCU, while also trying to turn their rights to Venom into a milkable franchise. The film's cynicism is more than obvious. However, there's at least some charm to the relationship between Eddie and Venom, plus the unintentional hilarity can be pretty funny to witness. I mean, there's some batshit crazy moments in this film that'll either make you laugh or drop your jaw. I've been Jambareeqi and I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, then feel free to subscribe to my channel and perhaps consider supporting me on my Patreon. Cheerio, folks.